This is our 1993 Dodge Ram Cummins turbo diesel. And if somebody will move the seat forward and let me out, I'll tell you about it. Free. Oh man, jump seats. You remember jump seats? You know, before everybody had a crew cab?
I want to see the footage of the crash test dummies that were in those jump seats when Dodge tested this truck.
I am the crash test dummy right here. So this truck is like our just reliable go-to. How long have we had this truck, Tom? 100 years?
Nearly 100.
Yeah.
Maybe 12 years.
No, it's got to be more than that. It feels like we've always had it.
100 is the new 12.
100 is the new 12. Airplanes are the new silent. This is an important truck for us because it is one of two vehicles that we own that is fuel injected. It is also one of two vehicles that we own that have working air conditioning. And coincidentally, both those vehicles are diesels. So yeah, diesel fans right here. Most of our vehicles don't really have ownership between me and Tom. I mean, they do in that whenever they're broken, they're the other guys. But this I always consider to be Tom's truck. I mean, it's what he generally uses as a daily driver. And I mean, I'll drive it if I need to use it for truck-related things. But I mean, you know, I have an Opel GT. Why would I need a truck? So we're going to do a quick camera swap-a-roo, and Tom is going to tell you about his truck.
Excellent. Look at the beauty of that machine.
It is gorgeous in every way.
So this is a 1993 Dodge W250 Power Ram Cummins turbo diesel, as it clearly indicates right there.
What does the W250 stand for?
Four-wheel drive 250 series, three-quarter ton truck in the modern lingo. They call them 2500s or something now, but this is how they used to be. I've owned this truck quite a while. I drive it all the time. It has 364,000 miles on it, so it's just broken in. It has a little bit of wear on the paint here from my arm.
You drive it like a trucker.
Yeah, this is how you can tell when you've got high mileage on your vehicle, like is this worn out? And the seat. And
this is how you can tell that although it has working air conditioning, it doesn't always have working air conditioning. So sometimes,
sometimes
the windows are down.
You can roll with the windows down in this. What can we talk about on this truck? It's got new vinyl flooring, which I just put in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't even going to mention that because I wanted people to just think that it was always this nice. But it actually, for the last like 5 years, has kind of looked like, well, it's kind of looked like this, only all over the interior. And Tom's been working on it recently because I was traveling, which always means that he starts working on stuff. And he's got new flooring in it. Looks pretty nice.
So let me point out a couple details about this. I've driven this truck in traffic mostly. It's almost never towed. It's never on an open highway putting the miles on. Every mile it has was sitting at 5 miles an hour in bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is a pretty rare truck now. It's a 5-speed stick shift, which I wanted at the time I bought it for sure. It's got a gear vender's overdrive on the back of it, so it has double overdrive. It gets 23 miles to the gallon on the highway, which is pretty impressive for how aerodynamic it is.
And by aerodynamic, he means not. It is exactly the shape of a box.
Yeah, well, at the speed this truck goes, you don't need aerodynamics.
Now, Tom, you said earlier that this truck has never been towed, but that's not true.
It has been towed. I loaned it to Elana, and somehow she managed to break this truck on a road trip.
Well, it was when I was working for Roadkill, and it was leaving a Roadkill shoot, so I blame them. I broke the transmission, and I really broke it, and I called Tom, and I was in the middle of nowhere, in the dark.
Jacumba, California.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost Mexico. And I called Tom, I said, I broke the truck, and then he made me do like multiple tests to make sure that I'd actually broke it. He's like, oh, maybe the hubs are locked, or maybe you're too low, and maybe this and maybe that. And finally he's like, all right, I'll come get you. And I could tell the whole time he was driving to get me that he did not believe that it was broken. He did not believe me.
It's impossible to break this truck, but don't let Elana drive it because she will do it.
I can break anything.
And for the Cummins people out there, it wasn't the engine that broke. That freaking engine destroyed the transmission.
Jet-Rag.
It's not actually. This truck originally was a Jet-Rag, but that is an NV4500. The upgrade, and the Cummins still dispatched it like a flea. Yeah, this truck originally was a stick shift truck, and they came with a Jet-Rag 360 5-speed stick shift. But the previous owner upgraded it to the newer NV4500, which is a better transmission.
But I still broke it. What are some of the other details on this truck? What wheels have we got on it? What tires?
Those are wheels from a 4-wheel drive shop. I don't know what kind they are. The tires are B.F. Goodrich. They're aluminum wheels.
They're a little bigger than stock, right? Tires?
Yeah, I really don't like the hubcap look of these trucks that they had stock, so I like this style wheel. Look at showcase the power plant.
That is exactly what I was about to ask.
That's what everybody came here for.
That's what I came here for.
So this is not a show vehicle, obviously. Don't get your hopes up. But it is in good shape. I put a few modifications on it. It has a 3-piece exhaust manifold, has a 5-inch exhaust system with no muffler on it. It's not too loud. They call this straight piping in the diesel world. I don't roll coal with it. It's not tuned up, but it does get good mileage because of all that. And I had to take the Dodge has a little aluminum cover that goes over these valve covers, but I found that it rattled and make noise, and you could hear it over the engine. And so I took that off, so it just has like the industrial looking valve covers.
So what size turbo do these things come with?
The right size.
And it's what, a whole set?
I don't know the size of it. It's a whole set. It's the original one. It's got, high mileage. It still hasn't broken. I don't think they ever break.
I mean, I haven't driven it recently. I'll give it a try.
In the time I've owned this truck, I've done the front, the killer dowel pin, they call it. It's a little tab that captures the dowel pin on the timing cover alignment. If that falls out on these engines, it can ruin them, so I went ahead and looked at it and made sure it was good. I've redone the air conditioning, I've done the cooling system. I've had the injection pump off and fixed it. It was leaking. These kinds of trucks always have some kind of leak, and it still has a leak.
Do they? Do they always have some kind of... Oh, yes. Yes, they do.
This truck also has a road draft tube, so it's made to just dump like oily vapor down onto the ground.
Don't tell anybody. We're in California. They'll get him banned. So Tom, I remember, we've had a lot of trucks. We've always had a truck the whole time that we've been hanging out together. And we had gas trucks before this. We had like 77, 78, 79, 440 dualies. That was what we used when we were towing race cars or getting parts, or for a while I was daily driving the dually, which made me a very good parallel parker.
Well, people that don't understand the diesel engine, and there's a lot of people that don't like them because they're noisy and they're smelly and whatnot, but if you've ever towed with one of these, you'll never go back to a gasoline engine of any kind. The first time we towed the car trailer over the Grapevine, which is a big hill around here, this truck doesn't even know the hill is there. It's like flat. And with a gasoline engine, they're always revving real high. This thing revs at 2,400 or less, always. And so it gets good economy, and all the accessories last a long time, and it has tremendous torque. I mean, this thing's rated, okay, this is not gonna sound impressive, but this is rated at 160 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. And in the modern world, if everybody's got 1,000 horsepower Hellcat and whatnot, that sounds like it's pretty freaking puny. But these are Clydesdale horses, and they will pull whatever you want. It's not fast, but it is powerful.
So basically, you'd be willing to tug a war with a demon.
Oh yeah, I dragged that demon faster than a quarter mile backwards he's ever gone.
Speaking of fast, how speedy is this fine machine?
Well, it's not, we covered that already. It's not fast, but it's not built for that. It's for economy and longevity, and it idles all the time. Like this engine, if it's got fuel, it's gonna run. It doesn't care anything else. I mean, you can have the filter plugged up, it'll still run.
Let's prove it. Let's drive it.
let's take it out for a drive. I'll let Elana drive it. Hopefully she doesn't break the freaking transmission because that is a bear to change.
I've already done that. My new goal is breaking the turbo.
Thanks. All right, let's take it for a drive.
You gonna shut the hood?
Ram tough. Let's go.
There we go.
Okay, Elana, I think it's time to take everybody for a drive.
All right, well, I can't drive this hat till I put on my truck driving hat. You ready?
All right.
Going to release the parking brake. Did once drive this truck probably about 3 blocks with the parking brake on. Kept smelling brakes. I was like, somebody's just burning up their brakes. What an idiot. That was me.
Lesson to be learned here is be careful who you let drive your truck.
This video is not really painting me in a good light, is it?
You're hard on the equipment.
I gotta give you something to do, you know? There's nothing worse than a bored mechanic.
I hope you guys get a good view of here. I'm holding the camera as best I can, but this truck is pretty freaking rough. And, you know, this is not made for smooth driving. It drives good though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, you know, even people who like stick shifts, they're always like, oh yeah, you know, I love my manual car, but it's really more of a weekend car because you can't drive a manual in traffic and all this. But I mean, all you need is a Cummins turbo diesel with a granny low. Just put it in first, and then you just let the truck walk itself through traffic. Stop and go, doesn't matter. Just keep, it's fine. Just do this all day long, which is basically what you do while you're trying to get to work.
This is my commute right here.
I mean, and if this is too fast for you, you know, there is a lower range. Are you scared, Tom?
I'm pretty concerned now.
I got a second.
A little herky-jerky. Sorry on the camera work. One thing about driving this truck, you kind of feel like you're driving a big rig. It sounds like it, and it drives like it.
Well, isn't that sort of what the appeal was when these trucks came on the market? You know, it's like nobody had a big turbo diesel except semi-truck drivers.
Well, when this truck was new, people did not buy turbo diesels. Well, that's not true. People did not drive. Well, let me rephrase this. People
now there's a bunch of Mercedes guys about to type in the comments.
The only people that would buy like a diesel pickup was like a farmer or somebody who did commercial work, you know. Average citizens bought like 454 dualies or 464
feel that
trucks.
handling. Feel this oh yeah.
I have never seen this truck take a turn that fast.
It's like 30 miles.
So when Cummins put this engine in Dodge trucks, they kind of changed how people behaved with their pickups, you know? Because this thing delivered twice the torque and twice the mileage, basically. I had a 454 dually. It got 8 miles to the gallon. This thing gets 23. It gets 20 towing a trailer.
It doesn't even know there's a trailer. You have to actually check your mirrors to make sure the trailer hasn't fallen off somewhere.
All right. Well, we wanted to give you guys a little ride in our Cummins turbo diesel. I hope it was what you hoped it would be. Oh my, Jesus. Oh, all right.
It's not broken yet.
All right, there you go. Dodge trucks with the turbo diesel. You just can't break it. So one thing that's really cool about these old trucks is you can work on this engine very easily. You don't need to pull the cab off your vehicle to do anything to the engine. You know, all the new vehicles are built in such a manner that the individual would have a really hard time repairing it without all kinds of specialized tools. But if you get something this old and this primitive, pretty easy to work on. You know, you can get to anything. I'll show you guys underneath of it. I'll get way down here for you because that's how dedicated I am. I don't know how much of that you could see, but that is the NV4500 hiding up in there. And that little guy right there is the gear vendors. It's got a pretty big drive shaft. It's a 5-inch diameter aluminum shaft. This truck used to have a 2-piece drive shaft, but with the gear vendors extension, that was the best solution I came up with. And there's the big exhaust pipe. I can almost put my hand in there, but since I don't want a sooty hand, I'm not going to do it. And it's got a Dana 70 rear end right there, which I've rebuilt. And it's still working, if you can believe that. All right, let's continue. Here's a nice walk around of the Power Ram 250. I don't know if I said that already, but it's an important detail. The only way this truck could have been better, it could have been a Power Ram 350. That would have been better. It does have a spray-in bed liner, which is proving actually very durable. The guy that put this in decided that he would cover up all the mounting hardware for the, the tailgate latch, and I had to change the plastic clips on that. And you know, it was hard to dig out all these screws because that bed liner is tough material. But the tailgate does work again, which is good. Let's see, it's a pretty clean truck, you know. These trucks, I really like this body style. I don't like any of the new ones because I'm a purist, but I really like this body style, basically. Let's go inside the truck. Let's see what's in there. Some cool features. You can see the shifters. I want to see if I can show you guys the window sticker for this truck, because that's kind of cool. Because in the modern age, here, I'll fumble through the paperwork for you. So there's the original window sticker, and you can pause your video to really focus on it. But this truck was $26,000 back then, which you know, modern vehicles are far more money. It's a California truck, which is pretty cool. There's no rust, stuff like that, you know. If you've ever had to deal with rust, it's a big problem. It does need a new headliner put in. It's sagging. I'm going to be dealing with that at some point. But, you know, get everybody... Well, that's pretty damn dark. Let's walk around so you can see that. No reason to have total darkness when I can give you guys a better shot here. Here's the gauges. But the camera work is spotty at best, isn't it? And got this cool little 4-wheel drive indicator. It lights up when you're in 4-wheel drive. Does have a stereo, Kenwood. It's got the that's the gear vendor on and off disconnect switch, and that green light is on. You're in double overdrive. This truck has 4 10s, so it can accommodate double overdrive, no problem. That little gauge right there is pretty cool. It gives you outside and inside temperature. I don't know why it's there, but you know, big truck guys like to have stuff like that. And it's a vintage trailer brake controller. I have had to change the pedals in this truck. Like I said before, all the mileage was put on in traffic, and I wore out the original pedals. They were cracked, and the bushings were shot, so I had to renew all that. But all in all, it's a good truck. And I hope you guys like that little walk around.